Welcome to Essential Dialogues. I was reading this article the other day, and it really blew my mind. Ethiopia, after like a century, is getting back into the global stock market.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
It really is. What's even more fascinating is they're drawing some interesting comparisons, to a part of financial history that most people have probably never even heard of.
A blast from the past, you could say.
Exactly. So we're diving deep into this today. We're talking about Ethiopian Investment Holdings, EIH.
Right.
And their strategy to buy up shares in multinational corporations that are listed on Euronext Paris. It's kind of like a modern-day echo of, get this, Emperor Menelik II,
Oh, wow.
back in the late 19th century. The guy who modernized Ethiopia.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about.
So Menelik II, he was this visionary leader. Think about it. Back in the 1890s, investing in American railroads. That's gutsy.
Yeah.
Ethiopia was pretty isolated back then, so it wasn't exactly a common move.
No, it was not. It was pretty bold.
It makes you wonder, how did he even hear about these opportunities? Information traveled way slower back then. And what made him decide, yeah, I'm going to put my money in American railroads?
It was a different world back then. Well, Menelik II, like you said, he was all about modernizing Ethiopia. And he didn't just stop at railroads. He also got involved in mining ventures with France and Belgium.
Seriously?
Yeah. And his wealth, they estimated it to be like $25 million back then.
That's a massive fortune. Even today, that's wild.
It really shows you the kind of leader he was.
Absolutely. Forward-thinking, ambitious, saw potential way beyond Ethiopia's borders. It really sets the stage for what EIH is trying to do right now, don't you?
Oh, totally.
So let's talk EIH. Can you break it down for us? What is it exactly, and why is it the driving force behind this global push?
Sure. So EIH, which stands for Ethiopian Investment Holdings, was set up in 2021. It's basically the country's powerhouse, managing 34 state-owned enterprises. Yeah. And we're talking big names here. Ethiopian Airlines, the Commercial Bank of Ethiopia, Ethio Telecom, even Ethiopian Shipping and Logistics. These are the companies that keep Ethiopia running.
So they're not messing around. EIH controls all these key players.
Yeah.
No wonder they're causing a stir internationally.
Exactly.
And their choice of Euronext Paris, that seems pretty deliberate.
It is.
Why Paris? Why not one of the other major stock markets?
Well, for EIH, it's all about diversification, which makes sense for any investor.
Yeah.
They're aiming for higher returns. They want to rely less on the domestic markets, and they want to learn from the best global practices out there. It's like, expanding their horizons and setting Ethiopia up for a more stable financial future.
Right. It's like they're walking under this huge global stage and saying, hey, we're here and we're ready to compete. It's pretty exciting.
It is.
So let's talk impact. What does all this mean for Ethiopia, for everyday people?
It's a statement, a signal that Ethiopia wants to be a major player in the global economy. And when they acquire stakes in multinational corporations, it boosts their credibility with international investors.
So potentially attracting even more foreign investment.
Exactly. More investment means more opportunities, more jobs, more economic growth, better living standards for Ethiopians. That's the big picture.
Of course, nothing's guaranteed. International investments can be risky, right?
Yeah.
So what are some of the hurdles that EIH might face along the way?
Well, there are always challenges. They've got to navigate international regulations. They've got to deal with currency fluctuations. And then there's geopolitical uncertainties, which are always a factor. And on the home front, they're dealing with high inflation and foreign exchange shortages.
So it's a balancing act, basically.
Yeah, it is. But they seem ready for the challenge. EIH, under their CEO, Brooke Tay, they're focused on building a strong and diverse portfolio for Ethiopia.
This is incredible to see. It's almost like a modern-day version of Menelik II's vision. His investments, they were bold, and they helped Ethiopia modernize.
Right.
And now EIH, they're taking that torch, and they're running with it, potentially shaping Ethiopia's future on a global scale.
And it's going to be really interesting to see how it all plays out. What if this move inspires other developing countries, right, to maybe try something similar and get more involved in the global market?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. Food for thought, for sure. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Ethiopia's exciting financial move. If you enjoyed this exploration of global finance and history, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Essential Dialogues podcast for more fascinating deep dives.